You know what's interesting about people who love being alone? They rarely avoid people for the reasons we expect. We often imagine someone who prefers solitude as lonely, antisocial, or emotionally distant. But psychology suggests something very different. Many people who genuinely enjoy being alone are not trying to escape others, they're trying to connect with themselves. In fact, psychologists often say that solitude is not the absence of connection, but a different form of it. It's where the mind processes, resets, and makes sense of the world. And for people who truly enjoy being alone, that internal world becomes just as meaningful as the external one. Here are 10 surprisingly common psychological traits often found in people who love being alone. The first is that they use solitude to recharge. People who enjoy being alone are often mentally sensitive to stimulation. Constant noise, conversations, and social interaction can drain their energy. Solitude gives their brain a chance to recover. It's not that they dislike people, it's that their energy is restored in quiet environments. Being alone becomes a way to reset their mental state. The second trait is deep thinking. When people spend time alone, their mind naturally turns inward. They reflect, analyze, and connect ideas. People who enjoy solitude often think about life more deeply. They replay conversations, question behaviors, and try to understand patterns in people and situations. This kind of thinking doesn't always happen in busy environments. It needs space, and solitude provides that space. The third trait is emotional self-awareness. Without constant distraction, people who spend time alone become more aware of their own emotions. They notice what they feel, why they feel it, and how it changes over time. This can make them more emotionally intelligent. Instead of reacting immediately, they often process their feelings internally first. Solitude becomes a place where they understand themselves better. The fourth trait is independence. People who love being alone often become comfortable relying on themselves. They don't always need external validation, constant conversation, or approval to feel okay. They can enjoy their own company. This doesn't mean they reject others. It simply means their sense of stability comes from within rather than outside. The fifth trait is creativity. Solitude is strongly linked to creative thinking. When the brain is not constantly reacting to external input, it starts generating its own ideas. People who enjoy solitude often imagine, create, and explore thoughts more freely. Many creative breakthroughs happen in quiet moments, not crowded ones. Their mind has room to wander, and that's where new ideas are formed. The sixth trait is selective socializing. Now, think about this for a moment. How often do we misunderstand people who spend a lot of time alone? Someone who doesn't socialize often may seem uninterested in others, but in reality, people who love solitude are often very selective about who they spend time with. They prefer meaningful conversations over small talk. They value depth over quantity. It's not that they avoid connection, they just choose it carefully. The seventh trait is strong boundaries. People who love being alone often protect their time and energy. They are more likely to say no to situations that feel draining or unnecessary. This can sometimes be misunderstood as distance, but psychologically it reflects self-awareness. They know what affects their mental state, and they adjust their environment accordingly. The eighth trait is comfort with silence. Many people feel uncomfortable in silence. They need noise, conversation, or distraction, but people who love being alone often feel at ease in quiet moments. Silence doesn't feel empty to them. It feels peaceful. It gives them space to think, observe, and simply exist without pressure. The ninth trait is internal validation. Instead of constantly seeking approval from others, people who enjoy solitude often reflect on their own actions, decisions, and progress. This doesn't mean they ignore feedback, but their self-worth is less dependent on external opinions. They trust their own judgment more. And finally, the 10th trait is a search for meaning. People who spend time alone often think about deeper questions. Who am I? What matters to me? Why do people behave the way they do? Solitude creates room for these thoughts. It allows people to explore their identity, their purpose, and their place in the world. These questions don't always have clear answers, but the process of asking them becomes meaningful. And perhaps that's the most interesting part about people who love being alone. It's not always about isolation. It's not about rejecting the world or avoiding connection. At its core, the love of solitude is often about understanding. Understanding your thoughts, understanding your emotions, understanding the world in a quieter, deeper way. Because sometimes being alone is not loneliness. Sometimes it's clarity. Sometimes it's peace. And sometimes it's the only place where a person can truly hear themselves think. That's why people who love being alone seem different. They're not disconnected. They're just connected in a different way.